All right. Be classy.
Stay classy, San Diego. You know that San Diego is German for a whale's vagina.
I like that new intro music, man. We got a Texas swing going on.
That's why I went country. The ones that hit, the first rap one is good. It's like a soft rap. It's a good one.
Knew I'd never be the same. Girl in cut off jeans said, boy, you sure can play. I said, that's all me and my buddies.
Welcome to the Talking Divots podcast. I'm Steve Byrne.
I'm Jack Snow, and let's get into our recap of the Texas Children's Houston Open. Gary Woodland returns to the winner's circle after 7 years. One of the better stories this year that we're going to hear in golf. Minus 21, won by 5, really ran away with it on Sunday. Had some competition from Nikolai Højgaard, a guy we've talked about a lot, but he, ultimately was in control all of Sunday.
The whole way. I mean, I'm going to say maybe Friday afternoon to Sunday evening, he was totally in control. He never really got pressured. He bogeyed the first hole Sunday. So did Højgaard, I think. Or maybe not. I think Højgaard. No. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to start that whole thing over. He put himself into some positions on Saturday that, he'd love to have back. But he never really was out of control. He was never out of position. Gary just did a great job. I can't say enough about this win. Getting back into the winner's circle for a major champion after nearly 7 years, this was incredible. And, 2.5 years ago, let's remember, Gary was diagnosed with a brain tumor that left a hole in his skull the size of a baseball, so that they could get to the tumor. And this tumor was pressing up against the part of his brain that triggers anxiety and fear. Could you imagine on a day-to-day basis living with anxiety and fear? That's a hard enough obstacle, but then couple it with, I'm trying to win golf tournaments on the highest level in the world. I can't even imagine what he was going through, but here he is, back in the winner's circle.
Yeah, and he really opened up about it, a few weeks ago, about his PTSD since the surgery. And it's been very difficult for him. I heard some on-course announcers, he'd walk by and they could tell he's really working on his breathing and staying in the moment and slowing down. It was just a high class out of Gary Woodland. His putting was fantastic. He was absolutely annihilating the ball. I saw 196 ball speed on one of these drives. He's 41 years old, and we mentioned last week he's leading the tour in driving distance. He's hitting it farther than he ever has. He mentioned in the post-interview that he's hitting it better than he ever has, playing the best he ever has. I don't think he's going to go away anytime soon.
This is incredible. I mean, you take a major champion who is now hitting the ball better than he ever has. World, watch out. But, what I love most about Gary Woodland is that he's an athlete. He went to college originally to play basketball. He ended up, giving up basketball so he could come back to his beloved University of Kansas to play golf and had an incredible amateur career. I think he won the Kansas State Amateur twice. That's an amazing accomplishment, right? But one of the things that I'm always going to remember about Gary Woodland, other than this, return to the winner's circle, because it was such a great win for him, I'm always going to go back to the 2019 Waste Management Open when he and a young amateur golfer named Amy Bockerstedt took to the 16th hole, the cathedral, the stadium, whatever you want to call it, and she hit her tee shot from a forward tee section, put it into a bunker. Gary's like, do you want to hit the bunker shot? Yeah, I do. Out it comes to about 10 feet, and boom, she drills that putt. And the whole time, she had this mantra of, I got this, I got this. Amy Bockerstedt was a young athlete who has Down syndrome. And she went on to par one of the most famous holes on the PGA Tour in front of a crowd And she just never changed character. She just went out and did her thing. Gary Woodland became animated. Gary Woodland became like he broke through that fourth wall and was able to appreciate what somebody else was doing. And it was incredible because it was the beginning of a friendship for the two of them.
Yeah, and something about Amy, she is the first collegiate golfer with Down syndrome to get offered a scholarship. Congratulations, Amy. That's an amazing accomplishment. And, you know, best of luck in the rest of your career. I was watching the tournament on Sunday, and she tweeted out to Gary Woodland. They had this mantra, I got this, you know? And she
Still
was
use
saying
it.
that,
They still
right?
use it.
Yeah, and she said, Gary, you got this, you know? And it was mid-tournament. He was still up by a couple strokes, but they put it on television. The announcers, you know, told the whole story. I'm sure she was watching and so excited with her family, you know, seeing this tweet and being spoken about on live television. Well, Gary's leading this tournament. They've been great friends ever since, and it really just, you know, speaks to the kind of man Gary Woodland is.
That's so great. I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
I do remember him FaceTiming her after he won the 2019 U.S. Open at Pebble,
Right.
and saying, you inspired me. I was channeling you, and your mantra was with me all week. I love that story between the two of them.
Well, cheers to Gary and Amy, I think.
Absolutely.
First cheers.
Cheers to Gary and Amy Bockerstadt.
Someone I want to talk about too is Minwoo Lee, tied for third at 15 under. He had a great tournament. You know, didn't make as many birdies as he needed to. Had a few hiccups on the short par 4. You know, chipped it up, rolled right back to his feet. Saw that live. I think really just, you know, it was a 2-man race between Nikolai and Gary. But T3 Minwoo has been playing great all year. His driving accuracy has been fantastic this season. He hits it a mile, but, you know, keeping it in the fairway for him has been super advantageous. Another guy, Jake Knapp, another, you know, long guy off the tee, T6, minus 13. Shot a 62 on Sunday. One of the best rounds I've seen, one of the better putting performances I've seen in a while. He had a putt on 18 from 20 feet to break the course record. He lipped it out and then had a tap in for par. But shout out to Jake Knapp. He's rounding into form. I think Minwoo, Jake Knapp are two guys that sneaky, you know, good candidates for the Masters. I don't know if they played enough there to really have the feel of the course. But I like them, you know, top 10, top 20, especially if they're in form like they have been moving forward.
Minwoo Lee was an interesting story on Sunday. I think he chipped in a couple times during the week.
He always does.
You know, and that's like his thing. Like,
Dr. Chapinski.
Dr. Chapinski. He is a cool dude, man. He's funny. He's loose out on the course. He and Jay Day are boys. And, you know, he made a putt on 18 to mess with the guy who I'm about to mention, Johnny Kiefer. Johnny Kiefer, 24-year-old Baylor University alum who I've mentioned before. He's risen to the ranks of as low as like the mid-30s in official world golf rankings. I believe he sits right now at number 60. But Johnny Kiefer had finished, and he was in third alone. And then Dr. Chapinski, the chef, comes in and drops this bomb on 18 to tie for third. I'm sure Johnny Kiefer didn't care too much about that. But Minwoo Lee, man, he keeps popping up. He keeps sticking his nose into fights, and I dig the guy. I think he's really funny. He's really cool. His sister is incredible.
Fantastic golfer.
Oh, my God. What a talented family they are. But so I mentioned Johnny Kiefer. 4 bogeys all week. Johnny Kiefer played well enough to win this tournament. At 24 years old, if he had won a tournament in his maybe adopted home state of Texas, I don't know if he's originally from there, but that would have been a heck of a story too. But Johnny Kiefer, we'll see. We'll see. He might win this year. He could be one of those guys who sneaks in and is like,
and he's not a name many people think about, you know, get on a day-to-day, but yeah.
We've mentioned him.
You have. Yeah, you have.
But you've mentioned how good my mentioning of him was.
It happens.
Yeah, because it does happen. The other player I want to mention is Sam Sneaky Stevens. I am giving him that nickname right now. Sam Stevens, you now have the nickname of Sneaky. He is number 44 in the official world golf rankings. He finished in 5th place alone this past week at minus 14. 29-year-old Oklahoma State grad. I love the Oklahoma State Cowboys. That's my golf team, man. Always has been since I was a kid. 8 of 9 cuts he's made this year. That's impressive. I mean, that's very. I wish I had seen which cut he missed.
Yeah.
But I didn't. Tied for 6 at Amex. Awesome. Tied for 16 at the Genesis in a stacked, condensed field. That was pretty incredible. In 5th place this week. This dude is nasty.
He's getting paid. 8 or 9 cuts. I mean, you miss a cut on the PGA Tour, you get $0. So 8 or 9 cuts, I'm sure his bank account's feeling pretty healthy right now.
I bet he's got a nicer car than he did 2 years ago.
Yes. A lot more putting apparatuses, and swing aids.
He's incredible. His shots gained. So, we see that whatever that shape is, his is almost a circle. Like where it's like he's just so well-rounded.
Yeah.
I gotta say he's like all, total shots gained. He's in the top 50 in the world. That's amazing for a guy who's never won on tour.
Yeah.
Amazing for a guy who's an incredible guy, man.
He's knocking on the door. And I think that, good segue into our recap of our picks. We have some good players to talk about. There was one pick hit this week, and it was by yours truly, Jack. Chris Goddard up top 10. He was T6. Plus 230, so that helped me a lot. I missed my other 2 picks, so I was only up $30 on the week. Steve, unfortunately, did go over 3 after hitting a winner's pick with Matthew Fitzpatrick last week. That really did catapult him up the rankings in our season totals. Sung J.M. made the cut, but finished about T56, not in the top 20. Brooks did not make the cut.
Yeah, that was surprising.
It was really surprising. He had a tough Thursday and Friday. I have ESPN Plus, so I watched it in the mornings on Thursday and Friday like a sicko. And he just hit some really bad shots. I was just,
uncharacteristic.
Very uncharacteristic. And I was a little shocked by that. You picked Chris Goddard up to win, which was a really solid pick. He finished T6, so you were close. I mean, you're right there, but, winners are tough. Steve and I are,
we've each come close, and I don't mean to interrupt you,
close.
But we've both come close.
I picked Shane Lowry, who blew it.
That's what
hit
it
2
was.
T-balls in the water on 16, 17.
Late.
And then I picked Ludwig, who was in the lead, who hit 2 balls in the water on 13, 14 at the Players. Yeah, I picked S.H. Kim to win as a long shot, plus 10,000. He missed the cut. I think he finished almost dead last, maybe 3rd from last. And then Tony Finau, top 20. He was in the top 20 most of the week. Sunday, he just couldn't make a putt. His ball striking, his driving was good, but
he looked good,
he
though.
looked fly. He
looked good, man.
I'm about to get me some Jordan
He
gear.
looked good, yeah.
That cardigan sweater that he had, button down, tweed. I mean, that.
Can you afford the Jordan drip?
Yeah. I got it. I mean, I'm parked right out there. I mean, yeah.
Well,
anyway.
I think this was a great tournament. From Thursday to Sunday, this was a really fun tournament to watch. Great golf course. It looked amazing. It played great, played very consistent. It just got firmer throughout the week. It was a lot of fun. There were 3 aces made this week.
Yes.
Did you see the first one?
Yes. Was Cole Hammer number 1?
It was Cole Hammer. Jack Snow, I'm so proud of you.
The local guy.
Yeah.
And then it was Adam Scott and Shane Lowry. That was Shane Lowry's 4th ace on tour, which I think is a fantastic stat.
I know he's got one at 17
At the Players. Yes.
And he's got one at the Masters, 16 at the Masters.
And Pebble. Pebble at 7.
7 on
Pebble at
Pebble.
7.
You're right.
That's what
You're
it was.
right.
Yeah.
Man, he has got a bunch of very memorable.
I love Shane Lowry.
He's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
If we've said it before, if you don't like Shane Lowry, you're an asshole.
You're an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, go fuck yourself if you don't like Shane Lowry. I'll say it.
Yeah. No, I mean, you are an asshole, and you can go fuck yourself because he's the greatest. He's so cool. He's so funny. He's been like, remember at the Ryder Cup when he played bouncer and he kept Rory from getting into a fight?
Yeah.
Like, that's Shane Lowry. You want to party with Shane
Lowry.
Lowry. We've said it before. Shane Lowry.
Shane's
He's a
Lowry.
funny lad. He's a funny lad.
He's a funny lad. He drinks Guinness. You have to drink, dude.
Sorry. Oh, a turning of the tables.
Do you want to talk about this fine establishment that we're at?
I do want to talk about this fine establishment we are at. We are recording at the world famous Parrot Lounge in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The Parrot Lounge has been on this same footprint since 1970. This is maybe the northern reach of the Fort Lauderdale spring break.
Sure.
It is middle of spring break season right now.
And we're on the beach.
And we are on the beach. The beach is 500 feet away. If you are a Philly fan, Flyers, 76ers, Phillies, Eagles, especially the Eagles on Sundays, this is the place that you want to come and watch sports. They will tell you right away, if you are rooting for the other team, you will not be let in for your own safety. I love that. I love this place.
I do too. However, I'm a New England fan, so I've got
You're never coming in
a
here.
lot of bad blood towards the Eagles, a lot of bad blood towards the 76ers. I obviously won't tell the owner here that, and I won't come here on Sundays just for my own safety because I'll be an obnoxious Patriots fan. But no, this venue is amazing. We're
awesome.
in the sidebar. They turned down the music for us, so you can hear what we're saying. They've got a really nice shuffleboard table here. I've been eyeing it all night. We'll probably get there soon enough.
Absolutely.
The bar's great. Everyone here looks fantastic. Bartenders are fantastic. Very happy to be here at a new venue.
Absolutely.
First time here.
First time here. First time here, and definitely not the last time here. Love the Parrot. I can walk to it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Hugh Birch Park, just north of us.
I go there. I go fishing there.
At Hugh Birch?
Yeah, in the canal.
Kidding. In the canal,
I
yeah.
catch jacks.
That's awesome. That's really cool, man. It's just a great spot. When you are in Fort Lauderdale, please come visit the world famous Parrot Lounge. You will not be disappointed.
All right, well, that wraps up our recap. And let's set the board for the Valero Texas Open at TPC San Antonio, the Oaks course. It's playing 7,450 yards, par 72. We're getting away from the par 70. Defending champion, Brian Harmon. We also had a really great tournament in 2024 where Ashke Bhatia took down our guy, Denny McCarthy, who we talked about here and there in a playoff.
We have talked about him. Do you remember what he did on the back nine?
I remember he birdied a lot of holes.
He birdied all 9 of them.
Yeah,
It was crazy.
it was.
And then he chunked the wedge on the first playoff
And
hole.
dunked it in the water.
Crazy.
It was tough.
And
tough
that's
to
his,
watch.
he's a great putter, maybe the best putter in the world.
Yeah.
But he's an amazing wedge player. That was insane that he did that happened at that time. But it allowed Akshay into the Masters. Denny was already qualified for the Masters. So, it was meant to be.
Yeah, and Akshay's really kind of taken off from there. I think Denny, we've talked about, has had a little bit of a disappointing season. He had a pretty good finish at the Houston Open. And I remember on the live broadcast, Smiley was talking about, Denny had about a 60-foot putt. And he's like, nothing's out of range for Denny. And Denny rolls it, and it's rolling, and it breaks left, and boom, drains it. He goes, yep. We willed that one into the hole. I mean, there's no range for that guy.
He should use the putter off the tee.
You should use the putter off the tee.
Sorry, Denny.
But no, this is a good tournament. And last year, Harmon won at 9 under. The year before, it was -20. I think it really depends on the conditions. There's a lot of guys in the field that are still trying to qualify for the Masters, get into that top 50. So, no one's taking the week off and really just kind of coasting through this one. It's going to be a pretty strong field, and you'll see that from our picks. I think both of our winner picks are the 2 favorites, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But overall, I think it's going to be a great tournament to watch, and this course plays very, very well.
I agree on every point that you just hit there, although I haven't seen your pick, so I'm interested when we get to that. This is the time of the show when I give out the shout out to the superintendent. So the director of golf course operations at TPC San Antonio is Robbie Robertson, not to be confused with the great Robbie Robertson, who was the lead guitarist of the band. Sorry. But Robbie has been in the PGA ranks for over 30 years at various golf courses. His head superintendent at the Oaks course is Logan Behrens. And his most important guy on the property, like I say all the time, the head equipment manager at the Oaks course is Matthew Fate. So these talented turf rash professionals I wish you the best of luck this week. I know you're going to knock it out of the park. Cheers.
Here's that. Very well. Yeah, no, and Brian Harman won last year. He really hasn't made a whole lot of noise since then. And he won that, British Open, made every single putt. I think inside of 10, 16 feet, whatever it was. He's a sneaky little player. He's, a short guy. Hits it, a long ways for his size. And I like to think of myself as one of those. So I like to root for Brian Harman. But, that putter he uses is about this big. And for those of you who aren't watching it or on Spotify, I'm holding about, a 16-inch trout in my hands. But it's, it's impressive. And it was playing really, really tough last year. I don't have too many notes for the course this year other than my picks, but, go ahead if you got something.
I would love to give you my top 20 because I've mentioned this guy in this show, and I'm excited about my top 20 pick. Johnny Kiefer, who has buoyed himself in between, the lowest ranking I think he had was in the 30s in the official World Golf rankings to where he is right now at 60. He had such an impressive Sunday and an impressive tournament this past week where he made only 4 bogeys. I think this guy has yet to qualify for the Masters, and he wants to be there so badly. I mean, it would be a dogfight between he and Ricky Fowler to see who wants to be at Augusta more. And I see Johnny Kiefer as having a great week in his adopted state of Texas. Johnny Kiefer in my top 20. I don't know what his odds are. Could you tell me what those are?
I believe I have them written down.
I can always rely on you.
He is plus 220 for a top 20.
I'll take that.
It's good odds.
Yeah. What is your top 20 pick?
So my top 20 is Chris Kirk. He's a guy I love to watch play golf because all he does is hit a draw. He hits a draw of the tee, he hits a draw of his irons and his wedges. And, he can heat up with his putter, and he has on and off weeks. And so far this season, 4 of 8 cuts, no top 20s. He had a pretty decent finish last week, wasn't in the top 20, but at Valero, he's had 4 top 10s, 5 top 25s, and I think he's a guy that kind of heats up for a stretch of the season. I watched him hit a few shots this week. I can tell his swing is there. And he's comfortable at this course. Chris Kirk at plus 325 for a top 20. I like those odds a lot.
Good value.
Yeah, and I've been waiting to take him all year, and I just haven't felt comfortable. I feel comfortable now. Won the Honda a few years back, and that was his comeback win, his first win since 2013.
Yeah.
Where he really kind of found his form again. And I think he went through some struggles as well, but
he did.
No, I think he's around in the form.
Those are surprising numbers for him, both his odds in the top 20 and his present official World Golf ranking, which I'm assuming is right around 100.
Yeah, probably around there.
Yeah.
I don't have it, but
hell of a player. University of Georgia product.
Yeah. What do you got, top 10?
I love my top 10 because, and you're going to see a theme here, this is all Texas, baby. Like, you've gone all vibes for the last 2 weeks.
Still vibes.
You're still vibes.
Yeah.
3 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
I'm going all Texas this week. All right. By way of association, but we're going all Texas. I'm going with Jordan Spieth for a top 10. I guess he has been rounding into form. He's been lurking. He's been so good. He just hasn't been great yet. This is going to be Jordan Spieth's week to reclaim Texas. Scotty's not playing. Okay. I think Jordan has been, and like I said, he's lurking. Putting is coming into form. He knows this golf course. Jordan Spieth, top 10.
He's historically played really well there.
Yeah.
I like that pick a lot.
Go for it. Give me yours.
Siwoo Kim. He's been I think he's playing the best golf of his career this season. Started hot this year with a 11th, 6th, 2nd, and 3rd. He's slowed down since. He's had, a few 40s, 50s. Hasn't missed many cuts, but I like him to rebound this week in kind of a lesser field without Rory and Scotty. At the Valero, he's made 6 out of 8 cuts, and he's had 1 top 10, so not, insane statistics to back this pick. I just think the form that he's in, and I saw a video of him at the Players waiting on the tee for the group in front of him. I think someone lost the ball. He was just in the woods smoking a cigarette. And I was just like, you know what? Siwoo is fucking gonna win this year.
You don't see that very often
No,
anymore.
you don't.
Guys hitting the heaters.
He loves heaters. He loves Red Bull. He had this whole interview about how he had stopped drinking 9 Red Bulls before a round because his heart was going to explode. But he thinks it calms down. It's this whole thing. I love him. He's a fascinating person. He's a really cool guy. And he's just playing some really fucking good.
We swear on the show, dude. Go
He's
for
playing
it.
some really fucking good golf this year. And I like him at a top 10.
Every week, you have a pick that I wish I could say, nope, that's too good. You can't make that. That's the pick this week.
Yeah, and he is also plus 230 at a top 10.
That's a good value, man.
Great value.
Really good. I am going with Ludwig Aubert as my winner. Now, I said that I'm going with a Texas sweep here. Johnny Kiefer, Baylor, Jordan Spieth from Texas, went to UT. Ludwig Aubert from Sweden, went to Texas Tech. This guy is a stud. He is a stud. He's going to win majors. We talked about this. Not an issue. This guy is going to have a trophy case that is going to be very enviable by the end of his career. And I think this is a tournament that he eyeballs every year because of his love for T-Tech. Ludwig Aubert, I have him at plus 1,600.
Correct.
Okay. I think that is a great value. I think he's the second ranked player in the field this week to Tommy Fleetwood. I like him, man. I like Aubert at plus 1,600.
I like him any week. He's the favorite. The co-favorite is Tommy Fleetwood, who is my pick. At the tournament, he's made 3 of 3 cuts, 2 top 10s. This year, he's made 4 or 5 cuts. He's only won once on tour. The Tour Championship, big payday. I like Tommy Fleetwood to win any week. I want him to have that killer instinct and get her done before the Masters. I think that would give him a lot of confidence going into Augusta. Plus 1,600 as well. Tommy Fleetwood.
That's a good pick, man. Tommy Fleetwood can win any tournament.
Yeah.
And he showed it last year in Atlanta, taking home the big prize. That was such a great Sunday, wasn't it? And it's one that he will never forget. It's one I hope to never forget as a fan. He's so cool. Good pick there, man. I really find it hard to root against Tommy Fleetwood. He's just a great guy.
Yeah, he's the man.
But I do hope Ludwig Aubert wins.
I do too. I mean, he's a great player as well, and I picked him before for the players, and he blew it for me. No, but I love you, Ludwig. I think this wraps up setting the board. A little bit of Tiger talk. Very brief. Once again, played here once in 1996. Came in T3. However, we had some news with Tiger this week. Getting in a accident in a residential neighborhood. Flipped his Range Rover. It's, he's had a few accidents in the past, and we've heard some news with Tiger, and we've been hearing a lot about him ramping up for the Masters, potentially playing. He wanted to play. I don't know what this does to that story. I think it's just a really unfortunate event where we're seeing a guy who's got a lot of pain and a lot of trouble with his body, back fusion, knee surgeries, Achilles last year. And, I think he does take a lot of painkillers to get through a given day. And, there are complications with that, but more than anything, I just want to see him kind of live the normal life he's always wanted to live. And you watch his documentary on HBO, which was not solicited by him or his agent or anything. And I don't think he was super happy about that being made, but it did tell a decent story of Tiger Woods. And there's other things that may have been included that he would not have wanted to be included. But, more than anything, I just want to see Tiger Woods play golf. And that was great to see at the TGL. We mentioned it the other night. He played for the first time in 12 months at competitive golf. But I'm just saddened by it because I want to see Tiger Woods get his own driver. He doesn't need to, hit a 3-wood, like,
Dude, get an Uber.
That's a joke.
Get an Uber. Like, I mean, just, and I don't mean to cut off your flow there, but
yeah.
I worry about this guy's legacy at this point. Some of the greatest athletes of our lifetimes. My lifetime has been a bit longer than yours so far, but There have been people who have tarnished their own legacy through very avoidable acts. And Tiger is right on that cusp of doing that. Now, he blew a zero breathalyzer.
Yeah, wasn't drinking.
And he was not at all. Like, they proved that on site. Now, whether or not they're going to find out that anything was in his system that shouldn't have been in his system for somebody who was operating a motor vehicle, we may never get the full truth on that. I don't want to give him the benefit of the doubt because he knows what he did, right? And I wasn't there. I don't know what he did. But get yourself a driver. You've got business to take care of on every road trip that you're on. I don't care if it's 30 minutes down the road from Hobe Sound to Jupiter or vice versa. Or if you're on a road trip through the streets of LA, you've got business to take care of because you're Tiger Woods. You're one of the most important sports figures on the planet. Have somebody driving you so you can take care of that. Now, I don't know if he was distracted while he was driving, but I do know that he's got to stop this pattern because there is something wrong there. And I think it is systemic of his team not stepping in, saying, I can drive you there. I can get you there better. I'll have a car ready. You get in the back. You text. You email. You do whatever you got to do. I'm here for you. Somebody's got to step up. He's got a team. Use that team.
Yeah, and I've heard some details of the story, which I'm not going to get into, but, you know, more than anything, it's just we want to see him healthy. Nothing on the news to tarnish his legacy. He's the reason I got into golf. He's my favorite golfer of all time. He always will be. I want to see Tiger play, and I want to see him play at the Masters this year, and I want to see him play in any major that he can. And I want to see him play on the senior tour. And I know he said he never would, but I think he might at this point. And he'll dominate. If his form's good and
he wasn't hurt. Nobody was hurt in this. So that's the important factor here. Nobody was hurt, right? So it doesn't affect his ability to play in the Masters. Whether he's there, whether he's not. That has no bearing on this past week.
Yep.
I do want to see him play only if he is at a health level that can help him to compete. But if his first tournament back is the U.S. Senior Open, then that's where we're going to see him. And we've got to be okay with that. I mean, he is 50 years old, and he has put his body through a lot. And he has done a lot of that in a way that has been regrettable.
Yeah.
But things happen. Life happens. Life gets in the way of everybody. And nobody can sit there on a pulpit and say, oh, Tiger. No. You know what? Things happen to bad things happen to good people. Good things happen to bad people, right? Yeah. I mean, bad people win the lotto, right? So I just want Tiger to be healthy. I want him to come back. I'd love to see him play in April at Augusta. Whether he will or not, we don't know.
Quick question here. I know we have an Outside the Ropes coming up, but who do you think is more likely to win a major? And this is a, Masters, Open, U.S. Open, PGA. Anthony Kim or Tiger Woods?
Anthony Kim won't make it into all those fields. He won't make it into Augusta. So immediately I go to Tiger. Who is a better player right now? We don't get to see Tiger, so I got to go with Anthony Kim.
I think it's a cool conversation.
It's an interesting conversation, but I go Tiger Woods. I go
Yeah.
Tiger Woods just for pure numbers. He's going to qualify for all four of those.
Yeah.
I go Tiger Woods, but I would love to see, that would be cool to see Anthony Kim. Has he qualified for any of them?
I don't think so. We're seeing on Live, but just with his recent form was winning on Live, right? And he hadn't played golf in 12 years. He hadn't picked up a golf club in 12 years. And he won on Live about a year and a half later after practicing. Tiger Woods he won in 2019 the Masters, and I still think he's the greatest golfer of all time. Of course. But I think it's a really cool conversation that people should be having, whether either of them could win another major, which is, I think, a long shot, but who is more likely? Because Anthony Kim is one of the most raw, talented golfers we've seen. Tiger is one of the most technical, practice-oriented, just repetition, repetition. I can hit any fucking shot I want to. I can hit any number. I can hit a cut. I can hit a draw. I play the spinniest ball for a reason. I would love to see them in a group together in a major at some point. Who knows if it's going to happen? I think there's probably a 5% chance. However, we might need to talk about it more on another episode.
I think another point to that point would be which players who have not yet won a major versus Tiger. You know, Ricky Fowler's in that conversation. Who else is in that conversation? I mean, Matt Kuchar goes way back. Who did you say?
Victor Hovland.
Victor Hovland has one when you
got her up.
These guys are in line to win majors, but I, you know, to end the Tiger talk, I think we both want him to steady the ship, be healthy, and be able to play, and, you know, stop tarnishing your own legacy.
Yeah, no, we all want the best for Tiger. He's the GOAT. Love to see him play in the Masters, but who knows? And I think that's a good lead into our Outside the Ropes this week. Steve?
I'm very proud of this Outside the Ropes. Every year around this time, when baseball starts, I feel like a kid again. I feel like a 54-year-old kid again, because baseball regular season is back. I love it. And this week, I saw a great clip of a kid at a baseball game with his parents, hot dog in one hand, baseball glove on the other.
I thought you were going to say beer in the other hand.
One day, you know, he's got the glove optimistically waiting to maybe catch a foul ball or a lobbed up ball from one of the players on the field. Regardless, it made me think about my first game as a kid. And if you'll indulge me, Jack, this was at Yankee Stadium in 1982.
Okay.
Remind us again, Jack, what year you were born.
98.
Nobody likes you.
Okay.
This was a game between the Kansas City Royals and the New York Yankees. Kansas City was a very, very good team back in the early 80s. George Brett, Dan Quisenberry, they were a fantastic team.
Are the Kansas City Royals still around?
Yeah, Jack. Kansas City Royals are still around. They won a World Series against my beloved Mets in like 2013 or 15. So anyway, we digress. My father, my Irish-born father, took my 13-year-old brother and 3 of his friends, I believe, myself, and one of my friends, my best boy, Pooch. What's up, Pooch?
Shout out, Pooch.
We were 10 years old. Pooch and I were 10 years old. My dad took us all down to the Boogie Down Bronx. Now, 1982 was a time of great unrest in the Boogie Down. Very, very high unemployment, very low optimistic rates. It was chaos. And the walls of Yankee Stadium were not a safe haven from, you know, the chaos going on outside of the walls that Ruth built. We saw a couple small skirmishes in the stands, bunch of people smoking weed, you know, people being free, people being New Yorkers in Yankee Stadium. Now, my Irish-born father, who knows less about baseball than he does about rocket science, somewhere in the second inning just threw his hands up and said, "Do you guys want to go explore? Go ahead. I will be right here when you get back." I was 10. Pooch was 10. My brother and his boys were 13 years old. We scattered like criminals, different directions, and quick. We were gone. Pooch and I made our way down like 4 or 5 rows above the Yankee dugout, just doing some very creative seat surfing. My brother and his buddies, they got into all sorts of shit where I think they got some degenerates to buy them beers. It was crazy, right? 13-year-olds drinking beers at Yankee Stadium in 1982. It happened, right? this was a far cry from the, Norman Rockwell-esque painting that I told you about earlier with the kid and the hot dog and the baseball glove. But it's all baseball opening week, and it's different for people in the Midwest or, these idyllic situations versus 1982 in New York. But you know what it is? It's still always hopeful that at the end of 162 games, your team comes out on top. Yeah. And it's an experience that I would never trade for anything. And I will hopefully never forget a moment on.
Yeah, so that's a great story. I grew up in Bozeman, Montana. There was no baseball stadium or team there. Both my parents from New England. I was raised a Red Sox fan. I remember my first game. I was 10 years old as well, actually. I went to Fenway Park. I sat on the third baseline, second row with my grandmother and her third husband. We had a fantastic time. My face was painted red, I believe. It was Big Papi, Manny Ramirez, Kevin Youkilis, Dustin Pedroia. One of my favorite teams of all time. And we played the Detroit Tigers, but we had a fantastic time. I'll never forget that first night. I love going to Fenway Park, and baseball season is back, and it is a 162 game season. It's a long one. I've never really understood the length of games, but you got to figure it out, I guess, throughout a season. And these guys grind. But overall, love that opening days back.
Yeah.
Thank you for your story, Steve.
Thank you. You're welcome. I'm happy to share anything about baseball.
Yeah.
As much of a golf nerd as I am, I'm that much of a baseball nerd too. I will watch any baseball game from front to back. And I'm the same way with hockey.
Well, we got some on right here. Washington
we got a bunch of games on here.
Obviously,
Philly,
Philly's
Washington.
playing.
Yeah. Like we said, we're at the Parrot, the world famous Parrot in Fort Lauderdale. If the Philly faithful are playing anywhere, if it's the Phillies, if it's the Flyers, if it's the Eagles, if it's the Sixers, they're going to be on these TVs, and they got 20 of them here at least.
I agree.
Great place to visit when you're in Florida, especially Fort Lauderdale. But Jack, thank you for indulging me with that story. Thank you for your story. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, and I think these Philly fans are eager to get in here and play some shuffle ball. So I think this wraps up episode 10 of the Talking Divots podcast. This full episode will be on YouTube and Spotify. Please make sure to check out our Instagram, Talking Divots, and our TikTok as well. I am Jack Snow.
I'm Steve Verne. We've got another episode of Where's the First Tee? It's our final 3 holes. Dead even right now. Coming up this week. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been the Talking Divots podcast. We'll see you next time.
Headed straight for the tee. Sun rising up slow, dew glowing on the fresh cut greens. Lined up my shot, didn't know where to aim. I watched it fly down the fairway, knew I'd never be the same. Girl in cut-off jeans said, "Boy, you sure can play." I said, "That's all me and my buddies want to do all day." From the early morning mash to them Friday nights, same steady hands, sinking putts, hold you all damn night. Talking divots, rolling putts for the win. Flush a wedge, drop it tight by the pin. Southern flow with a northeastern spin. Jack and Steve, yeah, we run it again. Bartender smiling, says, "I heard you cashed that